Are your students struggling with subtraction? In today's video, I will show you how to use base 10 blocks and place value discs to teach subtraction with regrouping. First, let's take a look at how these students use base 10 blocks. Many of my students lack number sense, and by using these hands-on tools, it will allow them to visualize subtraction and build a stronger understanding of the concept. Today we're going to use our base 10 blocks to help us to subtract a multi-digit number. What is this called? Hundreds. Well, how do you know it's 100?
Because it has 10.
Okay, so it has 10 tens, and 10 tens makes 100. All right, you have these. Yours are going to be a different color. What are these called?
Tens.
They're tens. And then we have these that are individual ones. Good. So how many flowers were there for the Columbia Festival? How many total flowers were there?
365.
365. Okay, look, so
There you go.
all right. And put them. Oh, how many hundreds should you have? How many of these? Three. Okay. How many tens?
6.
So 3, 4, 5, 6. And how many ones?
5.
So I have my 5 on top. Okay. What are we doing next?
The lilies.
Okay, so what about the lilies?
You have to put how much there are.
Okay, but we're having 365 flowers. What is the question asking for?
How much how many flowers are not lilies?
How many flowers are not lilies? So that means as I looked at your worksheet, you wrote a subtraction expression. Look at our ones. How many ones do we need to take away? We have to take away 6. So I'm going to separate these. So if we have to take away 6 ones, do I have enough? Let's look at our ones. How many ones do we have? 5. So what are we going to do?
Subtract 5.
Ooh, I heard that word. We're going to do what? Regroup. What does that mean? We're going to do what?
A 10.
We're going to ask our 10 family, can I have one of these? And what happens to this 10?
It turns into 100. No.
Isabel, it turns into what?
10
10 ones. Let's take out 10 ones. So we're going to take this 10 away, and we're going to make 10 ones. So let's do that now. Do we get rid of the 5 ones we already had? Or do they stay there? They stay. So we have the 10 and 5 more makes what? 15. All right, so go back to our worksheet. Now, notice the 5. It's no longer 5. How many ones do we have now?
10.
10 plus the 5 makes
15.
15. Can we cross out the 5 up on top and make 15? How many 10s are we left with? Let's look at our problem. How many 10s? 5. So we're going to do this to our problem. Okay, so now we're going to take how many away? What does it say? Let's look at our ones. How many are going to take away? 6. Let's do that. Let's take away 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay.
We're gonna have one. So it's gonna be 9.
9 left over. Yes.
So it's 9 right here.
Yep. Okay, and then go back and record it on your worksheet. Okay. Did you write Lorenzo 9? What's the next place value? 10s. All right, so I have how many 10s left?
5.
5. And they want us to subtract how many 10s?
Wait. 6.
Take a
No,
look
5. 5.
Take a look at the bottom.
No, 8.
8. Do I have enough to take away 8 tenths?
No. So we're gonna have to regroup.
We're going to have to regroup. I like how I'm hearing that word. Where are we going to regroup from?
The hundreds.
The hundreds. How many? What are we going to do to this hundreds? It now becomes what?
A 10. A 10.
A 10. How many of them?
10.
10. Because and then let's put them with the 10s. Okay.
Exactly enough.
So we have 10. And how many were already there? 5. So we should have a total of how many 10s?
10. No.
Let's think before we answer. Count them. You have them in your hand.
10.
Plus the 5 that were already there.
So then that's gonna be
15 10s. What did she say, Abraham? 15 10s. All right, so let's write it on our page. We have 15 10s. And how many hundreds were we left with?
2.
2. All right. So how many 10s is it asking us to subtract?
It's asking us to subtract 8.
8. Okay, let's take 8 away. Ready? Take 8 away.
1, 2, 3, 4. There you go.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Put them back in the bag. That way maybe you won't get confused or put them on top. So 15 10s take away 8 10s. How many are we left with? Think before you say it. Think before you say it. You forgot the ones that are on the side.
That's 7.
That's 7. All right, so let's write it.
Under 8 is 7.
Yep. And then how many hundreds are we now? We're going to our hundreds. How many hundreds do we need to take away now?
Then we need to take away.
We have 2, and they want us to take away how many?
1.
1. So let's take the 1 away.
So then we're gonna have 100 in it.
So what are we left with?
100.
100. So we're going to write that under which place value? 100. So how many flowers were not lilies?
179.
179. Let's write that.
Got it.
All right, so do you see how we can use our base 10 blocks to help us verify our answers? So when you go back to your seat and you work independently, solve it first, then go back and check to see if you subtracted correctly. But if you still need the tools to help you subtract one place value out at a time, you can grab them and use them from the box. Yes. In the first video, I used the term takeaway instead of subtract. I wanted to point this out. I used the term takeaway to create a more relatable and friendlier approach to subtraction. This also helps reduce the anxiety around the idea of subtraction. It is also important to use the correct terminology to build strong mathematical vocabulary. In the second video, you will notice students making errors in the algorithm. This is a common challenge when dealing with regrouping. By using the discs, we can visually represent the digits and help students see why regrouping is necessary. These manipulatives support their understanding while solving complex problems. Read it together. 1,000.
365.
Okay, can you show me that on your place value chart using your place value discs? Can you show me that? And for those of you that are done solving, we're going to verify your responses, okay? What we're going to do with our place value discs, okay? So go ahead and show me on your place value chart. And if you're missing some discs in there, please let me know and I can get you a little bit more. Noah, what number is that you have in the thousands?
1,000.
That's 1,000? Okay. So I'm going to do it as well. So what's the top number? 1,000. How many hundreds? How many hundreds? Look at your number. Okay. How many tens?
6.
Okay. And how many ones?
5.
Okay. No, what are we subtracting? What's the second?
187.
187. And when we subtract, what place value do we start with?
The 1.
The ones. All right, so let's take a look at how you set up your problem. How many ones are we taking away?
7.
Okay, let's take a look at our place value chart. Do we have enough?
No.
So what are we going to do? Okay, what's that word that I'm looking for? Regroup. Thank you, Carla. We're going to use what word, Ethan? Regroup. All right, so where are we regrouping from? Which place value? Tens. Okay, so what are we going to do with this 110?
We're going to put it.
Okay, it goes over here, but if you look at it, is it the same as the others?
No.
So what are we going to do to this
We're going to
110?
split it into
Oh,
little ones.
we're going to make it into ones. How many ones are we going to add to this?
10.
Okay, do that now. So then how many ones do we have all together? We had the 5 that were there, and then we regrouped and added 10 more to our ones. So how many do we have?
15.
15. Now let's look at what we wrote on our whiteboard. So what should be on top?
That's fine.
What number should we write on top of the...
15.
Yes, so let's do that. Let's revise our work. Good, Noah. Let's revise our work. Don't erase anything else. And then let's look at how many tens we have left now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5. So that's going to be what, Ethan?
50.
No.
No.
How many 10s are left? Okay, good. Erase that. All right, so how many 10s were we left with?
5.
5. So let's write 5. You have yours, okay? And you have, okay. All right, so now we're going to subtract how many ones?
7.
7, all right. Take 7 away and see what you're left with.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
And then what are we left with?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8.
Okay. All right. So you had 15 and you took 7 away, and you're how many left with? Genesis? 8. Is that what you have here? Okay. All right. So now we have 5 10s, and we're going to subtract how many 10s? What are we subtracting?
8.
8 10s. But do we have enough?
No.
So what are we going to do?
Regroup from the 100.
Regroup from the hundreds, and how many 10s are we going to put in our 10s place value? 10. Okay, so do that now. We're going to remove 100. We're going to remove 100, Genesis. And how many 10s are we going to make? How many 10s are we going to add to this?
We're gonna add 10.
10 more. Okay, so let's see you do that now. So I'm trying to get you to see the numbers that you are marking on top is basically what you're using on the place value chart. You're verifying your work. So once you put 10 more, how many total 10s did you have, Cardinal?
15.
You had 15. All right, Carla, how many are we going to subtract? How many are we going to subtract? What does that say?
8.
All right, can you take 8 away, and you're verifying your answer. Did you get your answer correct?
I was trying to do things so I could fill in my graph, but I checked my math in my daily recorder. I can't seem to find the graph.
Okay, maybe just kind of take everything out. Did you get it right, Noah? Okay. 7. Okay, take a look at what you wrote. What did you write? 8. Can we correct that? All right. So since we regrouped from the hundreds, how many hundreds are we now left with? 2. So let's write that on top, 2. And some of you have already seen you do that. You're just verifying your work. All right. So if we have 2 hundreds, how many hundreds are we going to take away? 1. And what are we left with?
12.
How many hundreds are we left with?
1.
We're left with 1. So do you see that, Genesis? Can you revise that, please? So we had 2 hundreds. We're going to subtract 1. We're left with, and it's on your place value chart, 1. And then what's the next one after that? What's the next? 1,000. Did the thousands have anything? Did we need to subtract any thousands? No. So we just write it right there. So what's our answer? 11,000? 178. Okay. I'm going to end with telling you a little bit about this year's class. More than 50% of my students are 2 or more grade levels behind. It's really important to use math manipulatives. It helps students to visualize concepts, build number sense, and most importantly, gain confidence in their math skills. I've seen firsthand how using tools have empowered my students as well as boost student achievement. In my next video, I will show you how I use daily warm-ups to engage my students in math.